about the instance activation time when it receives a request to handle, and then receive a lot of requests, and for sometimes it doesn't receive any other requests. How this is handled? Is it with Akka, with Kubernetes? How you can set the time? Is it something that the developer can should worry about, or is it something that handled automatically with Akka or Kubernetes?
Yeah, there's really, you're talking about the entity, right? The flow. Yeah. There. Yeah. So there's really one main configuration setting that might be consideration. There's of course a default setting, but you can override it, and that is how long should an entity wait before it we call it passivates itself. And I show this in this demo here, where what you can see as this thing's running is that you can see things are moving around, and where you'll see some things kind of go away. And those are entities that are shutting themselves down. They're passivating because they haven't received a message for a while. So I had to fine tune that configuration setting based on the rates and everything that's going on here, but I had to shorten it a bit so that I could make it where you would see something happen, and I could explain it. So it's really dependent on the behavior of the system. Like if it's an IoT system and every single IoT device is receiving telemetry messages once a minute, which is actually what I did in this demo, that there's 240,000 now devices. So every minute, the simulator service is sending 240,000 gRPC telemetry messages to this other microservice, and it's just saying, hey, this is a message from the service. Nothing's changed, but I'm just sending you a message. So basically all 240,000 of those entities, let me go back to this demo. If I could, and you can't, but there would be 240,000 of these blue circles in this, from the other system. They're all alive at the moment because they're receiving messages once a minute. And I had to make sure that the timeout period was longer than 1 minute. So I set it to like 2 or 3 minutes or something like that. But if these guys don't receive a message after that time, say I shut down the simulator service that's sending messages, then everything will shut down within a few minutes. So it's really dependent on the behavior of how often messages coming in, that type of thing. So like in a shopping cart, how long do you want to wait in between messages from the user? Maybe it's more like 5 minutes or something. And then the other part though is that recovering the state from the database when it's not in memory is quick as well, because there's two things that are used. One is that like a shopping cart is not going to have a lot of events, maybe 10, 5, 15, 20 events per shopping cart, because there's not that much data and there's not that many things you do to build up a shopping cart before you say buy or before you forget, abandon the shopping cart. But in things like a bank account that would have a long history of events, we're not going to recover all the events. And there's a thing called snapshots that have, like, a snapshot is done periodically, like once a day or once every 1,000 events, or that's configurable as well. So the idea is that for long-running, long history entities like a bank account, to recover its state, you go to the last snapshot and then any events that happen after that. So typically you're looking at maybe 10 milliseconds to bring an entity to life somewhere in the cluster. Fairly short, and then once that read's done, then you don't have to read it anymore.